we finally got her evaluated. She was diagnosed on the spectrum. But when it's your own child, I was taught that there's nothing you can do for autism. I just started researching, and I found a group called TACA, TACA, that talk about curing autism. I think the acronym is different now. But a doctor was slated to speak that night. So I went to see her, and she talked about autism as a GI disorder and talked about that there's tests that you can get done through the Great Plains Laboratory. So I ordered up the stool analysis and the organic acid test and got those samples, sent them off, got the results. I didn't really know how to read them, but I did notice that her yeast levels were off the charts. She didn't have any good bacteria. And the minerals and the vitamins were really low. The oxalates were high. So I needed to find a doctor locally that could help me with this. So we saw one that works with autistic kids in a more holistic way. And he did his own labs, and he said, okay, we just need all these supplements. So we had so many supplements, we had a big spreadsheet on our fridge, and went back a month later and nothing had changed. The vitamins and minerals hadn't changed. So he said, well, we need to double the supplements. Doubled them, month later, went back, they had dropped. So nothing was working. And I remember the nurse saying to me, these kids just need so many supplements that their body just sucks it all in and they need more. And it just didn't make sense to me.
No, and you know what? It doesn't make sense. Supplements are not the answer, but also I've heard this story many, many times, and I can't imagine having a child take all those supplements. And a lot of people open them up, put them into something, and get their child to drink them. But how can you do that? I mean, they're disgusting tasting. So that's already a no-go right there. You were amazing to keep doing it, at least trying like that. But obviously, it's good for people to know the supplements are not the answer.
No. So meanwhile, she couldn't function in a preschool class. Her sister was in preschool. She was at an ABA clinic, and I talked with another mom there who told us about a clinic in New York with these wonderful doctors that help with in a more holistic way, and made an appointment. We saw Dr. Compain. Unfortunately, he is retired now, but he was wonderful. And he talked about autism as an immune GI disorder, and he introduced us to the Body Ecology Diet.
And what was her name?
The doctor?
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Compain.
Oh, I don't know her, but we had many doctors starting to see the success we were having with our Bedrock group. And some of them, a good number of them, had their own children with autism, and they were recommending Body Ecology. So I'm glad we found our way to her.
Yes, it was actually, his name was Michael Compain.
Oh, him.
Yes. So he told us about Body Ecology Diet, and Tula had been on probiotic capsules, and it just wasn't doing anything. So he said that she needed live fermented foods and drinks.
Wow, good for him.
I know. And so I ordered up your book. In the meantime, he had prescribed an antifungal. So she had a small die-off with that, where the yeast is being killed, and so the behaviors get a little worse. So her die-off was more stimming, more anxiety, and I was reading your book at the same time, and I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all the information. And I was kind of thinking, maybe this antifungal will just do the trick and cure her. And it didn't. She just really was no different after that prescription was done. So Mike was the one that was really interested in fermenting. So in his past, he had loved making beer. So the idea of fermenting coconuts really interested him. So it was really
Well, so you started on the diet and you started opening and fermenting coconut. And I know Michael had said, told me that story about he and his friend made beer. And when they were young, college or high school or something. So he liked the concept of fermenting. And thank God, because he started opening, well, it's a pain to open up coconuts. And he did that for you. I think that's, people didn't do the diet because they don't know how to get into the coconuts. We didn't have anything else at that time. So you had to do it yourself. And so having Michael, opening those coconuts and then you fermenting that was great. I feel like this story has a divine arrangement in it. Just the fact
absolutely.
that Michael wanted to do that and he's willing to open the coconuts